What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. Now, we have a lot of X-Men comics, a lot of X titles that we gotta get caught up on. We're a little bit behind on a bunch of stories, so we're starting it off right here. We're getting caught up with X-Men issues number 5, 6, and 7. And through the next 2 weeks, we're slowly gonna get caught up on all the titles. It takes me a little bit to make these videos, but as fast as I can get them out, I'm gonna get them out to you guys. You guys know how much I love the X-Men, how much I loved the whole Krakoan era. And so following the aftermath, seeing where mutant kind has really paved their way in the aftermath of those events has been an absolutely fantastic story. Now, with the X-Men team currently being led by Cyclops and Magneto, they've been investigating a series of unusual X-gene activations, specifically happening to adults. They came across a new mutant by the name of Ben Liu, one who lost control of his powers to warp reality. And so the X-Men, they faked his death and they brought him to the factory, their new headquarters that is in Alaska. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so we pick up in the factory. We pick up with Kid Omega and Psylocke. They are currently headed over to Cyclops and meeting up with Ben Liu. The mission overview: they are to wake Ben Liu from his coma, stabilize his mental state, and bring back any hard intel they can on whoever's activating this X gene. Psylocke and Kid Omega not really happy that they have to work together, but both of them being psychics, both of them having the powers that they do, this is the best option. And so as they mind dive, they go into the mind of Ben, looking around, even being in somebody's mind. This is crazy. This is weird. It's all alien stuff. Like, by the looks of all of this, you would think that he was actually abducted by aliens. But this is all just the surface level trauma that they need to dig deeper. They need to go deeper. This is when Psylocke uses her dagger and she plunges it into the mind of Ben, and they dive into his mind. They see the man he was. He was a typical, regular, everyday finance man. But one day when he was moving along the highway, just having a drive, something came to him. Some kind of being in the sky. In his mind, it was an abduction. Something took him into the sky, experimented on him, used him, transformed him, changed him. The torture and experiment continued on. But they knew that these were people, unable to see who they are. They try to look deeper. They try to see this memory. But there's someone in here with them. Something that was left behind. Something to punish people that may be lurking somewhere they shouldn't. Lurking in 3K's business. This is where a construct of Sabretooth comes alive. It grabs hold of Kid Omega and his fear takes over. In the real world, we see his eyes bleeding. Him and Psylocke both. If they die in here, they die in real life. And Psylocke is seeing John. And John is in a state where he's ready to end his own life. That there is no getting better for them. They're nothing more than simply weapons. The only way a weapon gets better is by killing people faster. And so if we're not killing people, then we're broken weapons. Then we're useless. That there is no place in the world for a weapon with no use. With him taking his own life, Kid Omega is able to hear this. He hears the gunshots. He knows that this is psychic bleed, that none of this is real, that this is all her. And so he reaches out to Psylocke. He tells her that we're in black bug groups. She tells Kid Omega that she can't, that she's not strong enough. She's not a strong enough psychic to break out of it. And while she may believe that, there's no need to worry because Kid Omega, he's more than strong enough for the both of them. Now, Kid Omega's strong enough, but if he powers through this, Ben Liu may die. He tells Psylocke that he needs someone trained. He needs a professional. As she collects herself and gets herself together, they're able to get out of here. This is where we see them run into Cyclops and Beast. They let him know that Ben is awake, that the organization they're looking for is called 3K. They're making new mutants. They somehow figured out a way to force activate an X gene in abducted flat scans. And the kicker to all of it, Cassandra Nova is one of them. This is what hops us into issue number 6. We have our team sitting down discussing what they've just figured out. They've encountered adult-onset mutants. It has happened 3 times. The Orcus 4 school agents and Santo Marco, Ben Liu in San Francisco, and Jennifer in Detroit. After collecting blood samples and trying to figure out what's been going on, what they do know is that there is no mutant cantigen. It is not infectious. Someone has developed a process to artificially encourage the X gene activation in adult humans. But at this point, they've kind of figured out that it's probably Cassandra Nova. She's working with them. And this is a little bit disturbing considering we knew from the Marauders back in issue number 10. They left Cassandra Nova 2 billion years in the past. But Cassandra Nova is working with a group called 3K. Who they are is currently unknown. While they have this discussion, Magneto really makes one thing clear. There is no distinction between these new mutants, made mutants, or born mutants. And the X-Men will make no distinction either. They are mutants, and there is no question about that. Now, as we see everybody go in their own directions, Magic more or less wanting the heads of those agents and ready to find them by any means. But right now, she's got a little bit something else to handle. Temper has some help that she needs. This morning, Temper had saw a young girl standing outside of their headquarters. Now, there's a bunch of people out there protesting, but this young girl, Piper Cobb, she sent the mutant hand signal. This makes Temper believe that she is in fact a mutant, that she's needing some kind of help. Now, Temper knows that this could probably be a trap. Magic's aware of this as well, but they both want to find out what's going on. But they do have to be careful, because this trap could simply be mutant kind is kidnapping children from their homes or from their parents, and it could be really, really bad publicity. But they take the risk, and we see Magic and Temper teleporting to young Piper's house, introducing themselves and saying that they are here to help her. And so while they try to handle this situation, we're picking up in the training room. Psylocke and Cyclops fighting one another, but we have a conversation between Beast and Magneto. Beast has been really concerned that he's gonna turn into this evil version of himself that existed in Krakoa. And while Magneto and Cyclops both say they would never allow this to happen, Beast finds himself in a rather interesting predicament, because he needs to understand this genetic mutation, this genetic manipulation. He needs to understand what 3K has been doing, but he doesn't have the years of knowledge that the dark version of himself had, the years of experience manipulating and playing with the X gene. And so he's finding himself at a huge disadvantage, and it's becoming so frustrating that he might do something dumb. He might do something reckless. But more than that, we're learning about Magneto. We're learning why he's in this makeshift wheelchair, if you will. Beast is looking for a cure, to cure all of them, because all of mutant kind, they're all sick, or at least the potential to be sick is there for all of them. Taking us to a little bit later, we pick up with Temper and Magic bringing young Piper back to the headquarters. Now, Cyclops immediately is like, what the hell are you doing? Because he knows exactly who she is, if not what she is. What he's asking is, why the hell did you bring a minor back to our headquarters without the consent of her guardian? But young Piper says that it was her, that the Iron Knight, the night that the Sentinel came for the town, she says it was all her fault. This is where we see a giant, shut down, broken Sentinel frozen in the ice, towering over this town as a reminder of what could have happened. This is what hops us over to issue number 7. We pick up at the Summers family lodge in Alaska. This was the Iron Knight, the night that the Sentinel had attacked. And right now we have Summers that is sitting here having a beer, feeling sorry for himself. We see Magneto coming to him, and he's here to give him some words. Now, this is during the midst of the war, and Magneto is really letting him know that what you're doing right now, this sulking, getting drunk, this is Logan behavior. Right now, your people are in crisis. You were chosen as a boy, anointed for leadership. Logan is effectively immortal. He has the luxury of time to wallow in his feelings. Summers does not. That is his strength. You may not have asked for this. No more than Magneto asked to be hunted for what he is, whether being a Jew or being mutant. The world doesn't wait. It doesn't ask. All they have to do, all they can do, in spite of all of it, is survive. Survive or die. So he's asking him, which will you choose? As the two of them sit here, there's a rumbling. They look up and what they see is a Sentinel. This Sentinel is currently laying waste to the entirety of this town. And this isn't just any Sentinel, this is a Wild Sentinel, an autonomous weapon system. A Wild Sentinel's core can build itself a chassis from surrounding materials, almost like a zombie Sentinel, trying to figure out why it's going for the town and why it wouldn't come after Cyclops and Magneto. Even though they're right here, they waste no time. They head directly in, and Cyclops lets him know that Wild Sentinels are more adaptable than baseline, something that's already known, but he's kind of letting that information be out in the air, estimating that he can hit it 3 times before it adapts countermeasures. What he needs Magneto to do is open up that chassis, give him a shot at the core. This is where Magneto takes a car, crumples it up into a metal spear, and he chucks it into the chest of this giant beast, using the full extent of his power. He opens this thing up just enough where Cyclops can get his shot. Cyclops shoots, and we see the core incinerated. The system's going and shutting down. But as that happens, we see something happen to Magneto. Magneto's powers, they seem to be going berserk. He loses control. Had it not been for Cyclops using his optic blast and knocking him unconscious, it could have gotten ugly for everybody. That is what put Magneto in this chair. They call it RLDS, Resurrection-Linked Degenerative Sickness. There was a price to be paid for cheating death, a flaw in the diamond of Krakoan resurrection. And while Cyclops says they don't know this for sure, Hank is yet to get to the bottom of it. Magneto says the weakening of his body is one thing, but losing control of his powers. He is just the first to be infected, and he was only resurrected by the 5 one time. How many times was Scott resurrected? How many times was Kid Omega resurrected? What will you do when Omega level telepath loses control of his powers? As we pick up with Beast, Temper, and Piper, the results are in on her scan if she is a mutant. And the scan reports that she's 100% human. And while she says that she's sure she was a mutant, Temper kind of calms her down, lets her know, like, now you know the Sentinel wasn't after you, that it's not your fault, it came after the town. But the young girl still doesn't want to go home. Nothing's normal in her home. Her mom just listens to anti-mutant propaganda all the time. And so this girl is just more or less looking for an escape, or at least that's what it looks like. With Magic and Temper bringing the young girl home, they bring her home. Her mother tucks her into bed, and when we see this young girl fall asleep, her hand transforms into a claw-like reptilian claw, and then transforms back. It would appear that this girl is, in fact, a mutant. But when we pick up the next morning, we have Beast, currently on the phone with Kid Omega, saying that he's on his way to a planned lunch with the chief of police, and he doesn't have time to argue with him, but he's not allowed to strip parts from the Quinjet to feed into the Marauder, no matter how much he thinks it's obsolete. But while they have this argument, a bag goes over the head of Beast. Outside the diner, we see his phone on the ground, Kid Omega trying to figure out what happened, and Beast is nowhere to be seen. That will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Alright, so I know we're a little bit behind on the X-Men comics, and we'll get caught up probably here in the next week, but this resurrection sickness is quite an interesting turn of events. You know, it's something that didn't really set in until later on, and some people it didn't set in at all yet. It's crazy that it happened to Magneto. Now, this could be something that is specific to Magneto because of how he came back and everything that he endured. Like I said, I haven't got into the newer comics yet, so I don't necessarily know. I don't want any spoilers, so don't let me know if you have read it, but we're going to get into the next 3 issues probably tomorrow, and we're going to dive deeper into this, finding out what truly is going on behind everything. The fact that Cassandra Nova is behind stuff is insane. insane considering they left her 2 billion years in the past. All of this building up to be a fantastic story, but let me know what you guys think. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you want to get caught up on everything going on with this series, go ahead, check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you caught up on everything that has been going on with the X-Men since the Krakoan era. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership. Much like Patreon, having multiple different tiers, from $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to comics every single month. Not only are you helping out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you're unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.